What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Better. I'm your host, Jay. Excited to be here for yet another edition of Jay and Chris Save the World. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have this buddy. His name is Chris. We debate about everything under the sun, and we like to have fun doing these episodes where we kind of pick subjects where we figure out how we would save the world. This episode is my subject. It is how to make the internet better. Part 2 is going to be his subject about gratitude. So, without further ado, let's make the world better.
Welcome to Better, the podcast about doing better, being better, and leaving the world a better place than we found it.
What's going on, guys? I'm Jay again, and
Hello,
you are?
Chris.
Okay, so how's it going? It's been a while.
Feels nice to be back.
When's
been too long.
We did this before Christmas last year.
Yeah.
Come up closer to the mic, or else nobody will hear you.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
I think they can.
Awesome.
Can't confirm, but pretty sure. So we talked about Santa Claus and how,
Should we tell our kids it's real?
which is, I still get shit on all the time about it.
It's such a fun subject. We talked about it the other day, actually.
We did?
No, sorry.
Oh, other people.
Myself and other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the consensus?
You're,
I'm right?
You're Scrooge.
I'm not Scrooge. How is it Scrooge to not want kids to be lied to not continue to perpetuate the lies that kids tell, and that because of what parents did?
Use your imagination. Your imagination's great.
Yeah, but you
It's
can
probably one of the things that can make the world a better place.
Yeah, but you can do it without lying.
But is it a lie? I don't know.
Of course, it's a lie.
You don't, because you don't believe. If you believed, maybe.
Oh my God! So you're telling me you believe in Santa?
Never said that. I'm saying I don't know that it's a lie.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. I have to talk about this all the time. Every time we drop the social clip, you guys leave me alone. People are always like, I can't believe you would do that. I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, it's not that bad. I think it's a very honorable thing to do, personally. That's me.
It feels like we want to get back into it.
No, we're not going to. We're not going to. Let's got to move on. Okay, so this episode is about making the internet better. This is a subject that is dear to my heart because of the fact that, I'm on the internet like 23 and a half hours a day.
Right.
So do you like the internet? Like, do you find 3 things that people look for in life for a better life? Happiness, peace, and the ability to be your own self, your authentic self.
Okay.
Do you get to do that on the internet? Do you get any of that from the internet?
I feel like I don't get that. Like I was gonna say, I distract myself if I'm bored.
Yeah.
Waste time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I research and have debates with you about ChatGPT and a whole bunch of fun things like that. So,
listen, for all you out there, this guy thinks that ChatGPT can replace writers right now. I think we've proven that it can't.
obviously, a writer is going to say no, and someone who makes music is going to say you can't do music without soul and human beings. And
do you think, before we get into making the internet better, do you think that AI is going to make the world better or worse? We'll deal with it on another episode, but just as a yes or no.
Yes.
Huh. Okay. All right. Okay.
That'll be a fun episode. Next one.
It will. Okay. So let's jump into making the internet better.
Okay.
So I have just something I want to read to you guys that I thought about last night while I was coming up with this. Okay. So, you know what the iPad generation is? Your kid is, I'm sure, part of the iPad generation.
Yeah.
Generation Alpha.
Okay.
So they call it the iPad generation because if you try to take the iPad away, kids like flip shit. They have tantrums and everything, right? So the iPad generation Alpha, are addicted to their devices. They throw extreme temper tantrums and suffer addiction and withdrawal symptoms. So literally, it's become a clinical problem. Okay. It leads to brain rot and a social inability to function, to be able to have meaningful conversations, form connections, make eye contact. A lot of kids can't even make eye contact anymore. So I think that the reason I want to talk about this is because the world is only getting worse if we don't address some very critical problems with the internet. Okay.
And this is the internet, not the iPad's problem.
Yeah, but the iPad, the reason why they're so addicted to the iPad is because the iPad can access anything. And because the iPad is given to them as a device of choice to give to kids.
Yeah, I was going to say parents, then that's parents the problem. But let's hear about the internet.
Well, you're right. Parents can take the iPad away. But the problem is that now, we will get into it. Actually, that's one of the points. Yeah. So I got 3 problems I'm going to talk about, and then we can kind of rap about them. Okay. Yeah, let's go. So the first one is bots, anonymous users, and bullying. Kids consuming information that they're not ready for. My solution is one of 2 things: an ID-based system to access the internet, or private Wi-Fi signals that go where you go. So basically, in one scenario, you have to present ID to get on the internet. Okay, like you do to get alcohol. Like, I know everyone's going to flip shit over this because the U.S. is currently going through this with voting. Or the other scenario is you get a personal Wi-Fi connection that's attached to you. You don't use other people's Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is one device, one person. That's it, and that's how we do it. And we're almost there technologically that we could pull it off.
Right.
So because my thing is like, I'll let you jump in. My thing is that the biggest problem with the internet these days, and we see it in elections, we see it in like anything that requires any kind of like proprietary, like a person actually acting on their behalf. We see it with social media, dating sites, everything. So many fakes, so many bots, and people abusing the dark web, people abusing the internet in terms of kids getting access to information they just shouldn't have, right? So if you could access it through ID, or if you had your own personal Wi-Fi, which means you're responsible for your connection, then big people just can't have internet at that point.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you for or against this idea of?
It's intriguing, and like, so other parts of the world where internet is so controlled by the government,
mm-hmm.
and the websites that you have access to. So, I wonder, it'd be great to have somebody speak about that, because I don't know enough about it, hypothetically. So,
right.
Are they in a better spot?
Well,
I feel like lots of these bots are coming from China. So
yeah, it depends on what you say is better. Yeah, a lot of them are coming from China or Russia. Yeah,
misinformation, all those things being so rampant, I'd agree is a problem.
Yeah, like you can hide on the internet. You can hide from anything you do.
But like, is it similar to books? Like, it's information. Like, we have a debate. I want to prove you wrong. I go to Google and I Google something, and there's people that'll be like, "Well, it's because they want you to know what Google's telling you." Hypothetically, hear me out.
Yeah.
So let's use DuckDuckGo or one of these other silly things. Like, I don't know enough about it because I'm not woke like you. However,
okay,
there is.
I'll get accused of being woke.
Again, should we be limiting your access to information? Isn't that an issue?
You're not limiting access to information. You're making sure every person on the internet is real. Okay. That's the whole point of the system. So, like, you can still access information, but now you're held accountable for what you do. Instead of just being ones and zeros, which is what any person could be on the internet. Now it's accountable to you.
So logistically, then how do we like?
So if you rent a
kid,
yeah,
how are they gonna? How do you log in to the interwebs based on your idea?
So let's say you have a digital ID, right? Yeah. So kids have digital IDs, adults have digital IDs, criminals have digital IDs, pedophiles have digital IDs. Their ID dictates their access. So a kid would not be able to go to porn sites, would not be able to be exposed to these influencers that, like, I was watching a report the other day, and it was like 1 in 3 or 1 in just under 4 kids in the US, girls, for Christmas are asking for makeup, beauty products, Botox, like little girls, because influencers are influencing these things, right? So my thing is that basically your ID level would grant you certain access. Once you're an adult that has no, you're not a pedophile or anything, you just have open access, right? Kind of like renting a car.
Well, but like, I get it. I just think we're talking about a small part of the problem, and the bigger part of the problem would be maybe parents should be more liable for what your kid's doing or what's happening hypothetically, or if I'm an influencer and I do something that's detrimental to society, I should be held responsible.
Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay.
Well, not the parents thing, because you can't regulate parents in any meaningful way. Right. That's the problem, right? Like, I don't know much about how you parent, but I might not agree with some of the things you parent in your parenting, and you'd be like, go fuck yourself, because I'm my kid's parent. I can do whatever I want, right? Sean, like when Shauna's talking about Sterling and Preston, I will weigh in and say, here's what I think. But at the end of the day, it's her decision to do what she does with her kids, right? So I think that's probably a non-starter. I'm yellow again, by the way, guys. I don't know why I'm yellow. This camera is not working out so well. So
got the Trump filter on. It's all good. We still love you.
You had to. So for or against ID or personal Wi-Fi?
I just think logistically, that would like, is it Big Brother style? Like you have a chip in your wrist, you got to swipe, and then what if someone hacks it? I don't know.
Well, you don't have to do that. You could just have like a digital, or you could do it. You could do it like you could like literally give every person, although this would be a headache, give every person a scanner for their ID to log onto the internet. But digital ID,
of it, maybe. But how do you get it throughout the world? And like, we're going to go away. You're going to Costa Rica.
We don't necessarily need it throughout the world.
But then when you go to Costa Rica, then I can access anything hypothetically.
Hypothetically, yeah. But how often are you in Costa Rica?
Well, I'm saying if you travel with your kids, then your kid's going to lose their mind.
100%. Right? Yeah, 100%. It
comes back down to parenting. It should be
that I agree with. But the thing is that, like, what does the average person spend in their home country? Like time wise, it's got to be 95% of the time, right?
But like so VPNs, maybe I could say I'm in Costa Rica, then I can start watching.
Well, that's another problem. I don't know. That's not part of my 3, but VPNs are nonsense. Like the absolute worst thing that's ever been created for the internet.
Well, yes and no, maybe.
I can't think of a positive. What's a positive to a VPN?
Say you want to stream things like hypothetically, I want to get something from the Apple Store and it's only out in the States. I could VPN, say that I'm in the States and I can get it. Hypothetically, should that be against the law?
Well, it's a Creative Commons problem, so it's a rights and copyright problem, right? So, like, if you want a movie that's not available in Canada, that's because they couldn't secure the rights for Canada, right? So, if you go and you do a VPN and you go and you do it, you're technically breaking.
Should it be?
Well, yeah, because art is up to the artists and the people involved with it, right? But if I don't want Canada to have something,
a political situation, not any other reason, hypothetically.
What do you mean? What?
Like maybe a movie's not released here because politically, like in China, they don't want to release a Disney movie because something.
Yeah,
right? It goes against what they want their kids to believe. But again, so if I wanted to stream that and I'm in China, am I hurting anyone besides myself? Hypothetically, if I don't agree with the government's rules, so no different.
Move out of China.
Pardon me?
Move from China.
Sure, but again, a VPN. I think there's value in like if you want to do something that you don't think that Big Brother should be watching you, hypothetically.
See, and then that's another thing about this whole debate, right? Everyone's gonna be like, "Well, who regulates it? The government? Oh, the government's so evil."
Trudeau's going to appoint somebody, and they're going to spend billions.
Yeah, that's the usual debate. But I mean, at the end of the day, until somebody gives, I've had this debate with a lot of people, and I always say to them at the end of the day, until somebody proposes something better and we get on that system, shut the fuck up about it and just accept the fact that there's government.
There's like YouTube Kids, for example. So I can get my iPad,
which all kids hate.
Set it so that you can't download anything without my permission. Hypothetically.
Yeah.
You could go on YouTube, but I've heard horror stories of then it glitching and showing ads for things that are not appropriate for little kids. So again, it's kind of out there, but it's not 100% set and ready yet.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So do you agree with ID to get on the internet?
Sure.
Because if you think about it, let's say we did it. To get rid of the bots entirely, you would need international buy-in. But you could say there could be a reciprocal network where it says if there isn't an ID tied to this person can't communicate with this country.
Yeah, like if we're talking on election fraud, hypothetically, things like that, sure, that makes sense. And even just like you look at, like you go on Threads now, right? And Threads is
because it's newer, it hasn't dealt with all the problems that like X has and everything. Not that X doesn't have huge problems with bots, but like I'll go on and I'll post something about the upcoming US election and I'll get all these replies and they're just such obvious Russian bot replies, right? And then you look and you'll see people call them out all the time. Like there's like 17 profiles that post the exact same thing at the exact same time. And it's all to stoke fear and everything, right? So you could get rid of all of that through this system. And I think that is honestly one of the biggest problems we have in the world because our communication is just such a mess now.
So, on this, I'd say yes. Like, let's figure out a way to get rid of the bots because we were talking about parenting and bots and other stuff. I think it's two different.
Yeah, the parenting side is
the kids going on the internet. That's probably a different problem. Bots and misinformation, things like that. But then who controls the information? And
this plays into human trafficking too,
right?
Because like a lot of women, they think they're getting on a dating profile with a guy and everything's all good, and then they go on the date and they get kidnapped and they're sold to the highest bidder, and like it's disgusting, right? You couldn't do that if you had this system, right?
Yep. And then you could go one step further for voting, and
it
opens the door for so many great things. For
it does,
100%. So let's go with yes.
So you agree?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. First one, good. Okay. Second problem: horrible and dangerous websites. My solution: so to regulate websites like a business. With business licensing, registrations, and permits, especially children's content. Do you know what Skippity Toilet is?
Yeah.
Do you know what Coco Melon is?
Yeah.
Horrible content for children. Like should not be. If they were to like register as like a daycare, let's say, with their principles that they have, they would absolutely not get in, right? So because those two in particular, they're using psychology to get kids addicted to them. Bright colors, constant action, quick cuts, etc. So kids' brains can't handle the overstimulation, which causes them to have a separation from reality, which causes all those social problems. And they also come with very little or no learning. So basically what it's done is it's turned into using psychology of adults and children against them. There's no real rules, right? Because the internet still kind of is the Wild West, as I think we've talked about before. So I think that websites should be regulated like businesses. And like, if you want to produce children's content, there's a permit there to be able to influence children. What is your concept? How are you going to do it? 90 days of watching you, and then a random 30 days throughout the year where we're going to look at your content to see what's up. And then if you have something that's spreading misinformation, if you have a website that's I don't know, breaking the law, that's selling grenades to people on the dark web, anything like that, instantly take down. You can repeal it if you want, but the website's down until the appeal process is over. If you win, it goes back up, that sort of thing. What do you think?
Again, we're talking different problems that are amalgamated into one, I feel.
Okay.
So the kid side, bigger issue, parenting. Like again, I think
we'll take the parenting out of it, right? Because if a parent allows their kid on the internet, right, like you do, every parent allows their kid on the internet.
But so kids 8 months, bro. Like here we're talking teenagers, like
under 18.
Okay.
So kids.
Okay.
If a kid's allowed on the internet, let's just assume this is for kids that are allowed on the internet.
Okay.
Now, whatever the in-home rules are that the parent sets up for the kid, okay, fine, whatever, right? But at the end of the day, it's kids getting on the internet or adults, right? It's websites that it's, because like when I had a business, fuck, man, the permits and the licenses and the audits and like, Jesus Christ, it never ended. But it kept me on the straight and narrow. And adults too.
And watch Coco Melon and then can't survive society.
The content is designed to psychologically harm them.
Okay.
And or a website like I'm trying to think of one right now. Oh, The Dirty. If you had to apply for a business license for The Dirty,
right,
you would never get it.
Yeah, see, again, I'd agree on those kind of things. So The Dirty, someone posts you on The Dirty, you can't get your name off The Dirty, and it's a funny joke about it, then whatever, right? Then
it's not funny for some. I've seen people who killed themselves over it.
100%, right? They put it. Anyone else that posts it's a funny joke. Hi, I put him on The Dirty, whatever.
Yeah.
So I agree on those things. The Coco Melons of the world. Again, I don't know enough. I haven't read that.
Okay, so I read a psychological report on it.
Okay.
And how bad it's screwing kids up.
Okay.
And it's bad. Like kids can't even interact with their environment because the colors are different than what they're used to because the show is so addicting for kids.
Like, what are we talking? Half an hour a day is doing like there's got to be
it's minimal. It's like 1 to 2 episodes a month or something is the contact that starts to screw with their brains. It's the thing about it is like it's designed almost like chemical warfare. It's designed to specifically target a certain type of person and to engage with them in a way that harms them.
But like social media is the same. Like everything is set up 100%. Nowadays to get you addicted to something, and your phone's listening to you talk about Cocomelon. You're gonna get Cocomelon ads. Like everything is catered to all these things.
So social media again. I don't believe that Facebook in its current state would be able to survive the licensing process,
right?
Because of the crazy shit they do. But on the same token, going back to point one, if you had to scan an ID to get on the internet, it would remove a lot of those problems too, right? Yeah. So,
but then again, so it's not a Canadian company.
Yeah.
So now we need cooperation across the world.
Yeah.
There's going to be some country that's like, fuck you guys, you're not telling me how to live or do.
Well, we just block them out then, I think.
And then now we're controlling what you can access on the internet.
Yeah.
And then it's opening up a new.
Well, the problem.
So then, some point there's going to be political issues with this,
of course,
right? And like it's never going to be perfect. Again, I don't know.
Nothing ever is,
right?
Yeah.
Like, I go on X, and half of the things are naked ladies or
you really on your feed on X?
Yeah.
Huh.
So it's interesting.
What are you searching? I never get that.
I don't search anything. I scroll, and a lot of sports betting and like.
Do you have naked women on your X feed?
100%.
I didn't even know X allowed nudity.
Terrible things on X.
Well, that I agree with, but I had no idea. I've never had nudity in my X feed.
X is the best.
Okay, let's calm down there. X is probably the worst social network.
What's better?
Well, I would say Threads is probably better.
I've never used it, to be fair, but
Instagram's better than Threads.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know because I've never used it.
Sorry, better than X. I mean,
no.
Why is X so good? Why do you like X?
Because I trust the information I get
from what?
It being
you trust the information on X? It has the most bots.
Hear me out.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm having a heart attack.
Don't have a heart attack.
Oh my god!
Listen, Linda, honey, listen. So you go on X and anybody can post something and you can read it. And like the old days, how it should be, I should be able to read something, digest it, decide for myself. Now you post something on Facebook, I offend you, you say I'm offended, it gets taken down, I get my account locked.
That happens on X too, all the time.
Not as often, and it's much more open information.
Don't get it twisted.
100%.
You go on Facebook and the right shit gets taken down much faster than the left, and you go on X, the left shit gets taken down much faster than the right. Yeah, that's 100% fact.
I'm not super left like you, so I don't know. I don't see those things. I hear stories of information being shared more openly on X for you to make a decision what you think is right or wrong. On Facebook, it's much more, this is what society thinks, and you like it or you don't like it. If you don't like it, don't use it. You're not allowed to read about it. It gets blocked. It's misinformation. It's whatever.
I don't know if I agree with that, but okay.
I bet you we could, on the next episode or a different episode, we got too many episodes, but I'm sure we could find proof on both sides.
Yeah, of course.
But again, I just want to be able to read what I want to read and decide for myself if it's true or not true.
Yeah, but you have a brain in your head.
100%.
That's the problem.
Some people don't.
Yes, 100%.
So they need to be governed or told what to believe or however that works.
They're the people that are standing they're standing fast against that, right? They're the ones that don't want to be told. in most cases, I find, at least.
Like, as a society, are we better than saying, like, if your IQ is not of such and if you can't make sound decisions properly, then you need to be told so you don't get access to phone things or whatever, hypothetically?
I mean, the potential leader of the free world would fall into that department. So I don't know. Like, it's a crazy situation, which we don't think we should really get into, but it's like it's one of those things where you look at it, X is run by Elon now, running it absolutely into the ground, in my opinion. He's lost most of his advertisers, most of his users. Over 50% of his users are bots. Most of them are coming from Russia. This is all proven stuff.
That's what the left would say, 100%.
It's not a left thing. That has nothing to do with politics. That's what it is. I mean,
right, everyone on the right would be like Elon's
of course,
God.
100% they
When
think
Trump
he's God.
becomes president, he's going to be heading up the.
Of course, but
special
the fact of the matter is that all platforms have a problem,
Yes,
and that's why you would want to regulate them, so that you could get away from all this stuff. Elon, because you know why Elon bought Twitter, right? He was forced. He went and he manipulated the markets through his tweets. And then he went and said, I'm going to buy Twitter on Twitter. And that manipulated the market. So then so then he was held to it. And then a judge was going to rule how much he had to buy it for and when he had to buy it. So he curbed that by setting his own price, which was way too much. And he bought it, right? So at the end of the day, that would have all never happened.
You're getting so carried away on.
No, but that's the truth. That's how it happened.
No, but this has nothing to do with us protecting the internet.
No, it does. It does 100%, because
a better place.
none of this would have happened if Twitter had to be treated like a business. If it had to be regulated, had permits for certain things, the Elon thing would have never happened.
But like Zuckerberg comes out and is like, the previous government made me throttle certain information and whatever. Do you think
Man,
that's
you
true,
really
or-
digest that right wing media, hey? Holy shit.
do you think
They
it's not
said to him that they had credible intel that Russian bots were passing on the information. That's what it was. He said it. You know what's crazy about that story? Like, this is a great example of why this is needed. Back a couple of years ago when this happened with Hunter Biden's laptop, this is the one you're talking about, right? Hunter Biden's laptop, and they had to throttle the information so nobody knew about it, blah, 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 right? That's the one you're talking about?
Yeah, and there's something else involved too. But
Yeah, so Mark Zuckerberg actually talked about this a couple years ago, and he said that the FBI had come to them and the Biden administration came to them and said, there is this story with zero proof that we know based on your intel you've given us that Russian bots are passing this information off. We need this stopped because they are trying to influence the election. Russia is, okay? So Facebook put on the brakes. All of a sudden, this year, Mark Zuckerberg's like, here's part of the story. You can go back and you can even go back. He was on.
Why did he all of a sudden?
I don't know why he did it. It's kind of like he actually did an appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast where he explained it really well. He said, I kind of regret listening to them, but in the same token, they had valid reasons for it. Now he's not even talking about the valid reasons anymore. But this would all go away. IDs and permitted websites. All these problems would go away.
Yeah, I just have a hard time trusting whether it's Biden administration or Trump administration or Trudeau, whatever it is.
Like, who regulates this?
Who's going to regulate it?
It has to be.
Because
It has to be an
there's
independent body. It has to be the UN.
But there's someone out there, not me, who's going to say the UN's not independent either.
Yeah, I get
Right?
it. But
It's like, I don't know who's.
But at the end of the day, you have to go with at least this is the way I think. You have to go with evidence on everything,
What
right?
if AI could?
No, you don't put this in the hands of AI.
Why not?
Because AI has no feeling. AI has proven every single AI that they have tried to put on an independent system has wanted to kill humans. Humans are the problem. You don't want to give this to AI, but like, it's the biggest problem. I talked about. I can't remember if this is an episode with you or because I've been going through so many old episodes doing all the social clips for the new big launch, and I said somewhere, I could have sworn it was the episode with you, maybe not. But anyways, I said that when you're looking at all these problems that are coming up, somebody at some point is going to have to deal with the holy shit problems.
Yeah.
And we're just not. We're pretending like they don't exist.
Right.
The internet is a huge problem. Communication is a massive problem. Misinformation is a massive problem. Climate change is a massive problem, depending on who you talk to. Nuclear capabilities, big problem because mutually assured destruction does not seem like it's a thing anymore. Right. Not having IQ tests to run for political office, that's a problem. Like there's so many things. Elections shouldn't cost any money. Hacking,
Voter ID.
Yeah, like all these things are. Somebody has to at some point deal with them. And, like, for example, the US, Kamala versus Trump. I like Kamala. I think she has better ideas. I think she will take care of things better. I think the last presidency of Trump was a disaster. However, she is not the Messiah. And everybody treated Obama like he was the Messiah. and he wasn't the Messiah. None of these guys are willing to. None of these politicians are willing to make the big leap. But somebody has to, because we're at this point now where the world is not better. By the day, it's getting worse, and that's very troubling.
I'm curious. 100 years ago. Sorry.
Next close to me.
Curious 100 years ago if they looked at it the same way and were like, well, you got this, they're trying to go to the moon, and not 100 years, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the whole world's going to hell now. Like, there's rock and roll.
For sure.
Right? Like,
every generation's
going to say the same thing. And I wonder how close we are.
But there was so you can use the presidency, for example, in the US, right? Like, they showed this. I saw this clip the other day of moderators in debates trying to get presidential candidates to talk trash about their presidential opponent, and they wouldn't do it. You're like, I'm not here to talk about my opponent personally. I'm here to talk about his issues, his policies, his platform, and that's it. And they were so strict about it. And there was something called being presidential, right? Did you ever watch The West Wing back in the day?
No.
So The West Wing was a show about the White House, and there was this Martin Sheen was the president, and his aide, who was his best friend, would say to him, "You're not being presidential," and it would stop him dead in his tracks, and he'd be like, "Oh my God, you're right. I have to be better for my country," right? That doesn't exist anymore. That it's become this ridiculous little game. Same thing in Canada, most politics, right? But all problems, I think, stem from bad communication, and bad communication has never been worse than when the internet came around. That's why I brought up this subject.
Yeah, I don't know how we could regulate it, but I think I agree with most of these things.
You agree with most? Okay, let's do the third one because we're already over time. Problem: misinformation.
Okay.
Solution: coupled with the previous ideas, you must provide evidence-based approach to handling vital information, and all content must be labeled. News sites that are actually for entertainment, like what's his name? The guy who testified in court that I'm not actually news, I'm entertainment. He got Tucker Carlson. Okay. So everybody thought Tucker Carlson was reporting the news, and then he gets put on trial, and he's like, "I'm not a reporter, I'm an entertainer." Right? So that's a big problem. So you put a label on everything that says whether it's opinion, news, entertainment, whatever. Bold label, like right at the top of the website, this is what it is. Because I think, and then the other thing is that kids can't tell the difference between ads, and even some adults, but kids can't really tell the difference between ads and organic content, right? So they can fall for ads and things like that. So, and that are misinformation. So I think labeling all content, it sucks that we have to do it. It's kind of like hot stove, don't touch that sign. Like, do you really have to put that up? Yes, you do, because some people just will touch it. I hate that we have to do it, but I think we have to do it now.
Sure. Well, I don't know what it changes really. Like, a kid's probably not going to pay attention.
Well, not just kid, but kid or adult.
Adults are still going to watch Tucker Carlson and be like, he said this really great point, and I love him. And
but you don't think that if let's say you're discovering Tucker Carlson's you're flipping through the TV, right? Or I guess he's only on the internet now. So you discover him on YouTube. You're like, well, this guy's kind of funny. And it's got a big label on the bottom of it, right, or the top of the video or whatever, or like a red bar around it, entertainment content.
Yeah, so like Matt Walsh, for example.
Okay.
Love him, hate him. How do you feel? Doesn't really matter, but
not neutral.
Okay. Love him. Like, I think he's fucking so funny, and
he can be totally
90% of the things he brings up, I'm like, totally makes sense. Like, it's entertainment, but it for sure gets my brain thinking, and then it makes me think, and then it makes me, when I see something happen, I'm like, I thought about this the other day when Matt Walsh talked about it, and then
but you're not going to vote based on what Matt Walsh said, are you?
No, and again, I'm probably not the guy that's gonna need those labels either, right? But again,
I could use those labels.
I'm not, like, explain. I don't understand.
So I've definitely fallen. What's a good example of this when I fell for misinformation? I can't think of one because there's only been a few times, but there's been a few times where information was presented as opinion, but the way they presented it, I couldn't really tell.
Okay.
So, and they used false evidence to make their point.
Okay.
I was like, oh shit, I can't remember what it was, but so I went
Fauci in masks or something.
No. No, it was oh, you know what it was? Okay, so I was there are certain things I think people in this world assume you know. I did an episode and I was like, who's the person that goes to the doctor and the doctor's like, you should be exercising? They're like, what? I've never heard of that before. Exercise?
Okay.
You know, it's like doctors, they're going to take care of your immediate problem, but they're going to say like, or they're just going to assume that you're trying to take care of yourself because it's your only body you get, right?
Okay.
For now. And then like, so with the vaccines, I knew vaccines are not a cure. They can't cure anything. Biden knew vaccines can cure anything. The only way a vaccine can basically eradicate something like COVID is if the vast majority of people get it. So Biden went on TV and he said, we're going to get rid of COVID, get the vaccine, COVID will be gone. He did not account for, because he was old and really wasn't in touch with things. He did not account for the millions of people out there that think vaccines have nanobots in them and are going to explode them from the inside, right? So, or all the ridiculous other things that anti-vaxxers believe. So then I saw a story about Biden lied to the people. They had a news clip, they had links to stuff, and I'm like, I don't remember him saying this, but I wasn't necessarily watching everything. So I, for a couple of weeks, was like, Biden screwed up. He believes that the vaccine could actually it could completely get rid of COVID.
Right.
However, when I realized after I saw another story and I was like, oh crap, and somebody called me on it. They're like, that's not what he said. He said, if the nation comes together to get the vaccine, we'll be able to eradicate COVID-19. So I fell for it, right? Now, if that website that posted that information had to be regulated,
okay,
had a label that said opinion or satire or entertainment or anything, I would never take it seriously. I'd take it for what it is: entertainment, satire, or opinion, right? Here's the thing, and I talked to Hal Anderson about this on the show. He said, I asked him, is media good? Inherently, is it good? He said, it's a complicated question. He said, because there are reporters and journalists, and then there are talking heads. The problem is that everybody thinks they're the same. It's like if Neil deGrasse Tyson goes on Facebook right now and says, no, Jupiter does not have rings, Saturn does. And then you go on the internet and right behind Neil and say, Neil, you're an idiot. I saw it with my telescope the other night. I had the most powerful telescope in the world. And then people come in behind you, like, yeah, Neil, you're an idiot. Chris Singh said da-da-da-da-da, right? It's putting you at the same level as Neil deGrasse Tyson in physics, which absolutely should not be a thing. So that's why I'm saying I think the labels would help a lot of people.
Yeah, like inherently, yes. Okay, sure. It's way more complicated. You're getting out of control.
You think I am?
Well,
you think?
Yeah, I think I agree. Media, but now again, there's left media, there's right media. Like depends which side.
Yeah, but you can't have two truths. You can't. It's impossible.
No, but you can tell part of the truth. So part of the truth is, yes, Biden did say these words, but like they did cut out the 5 other minutes of his conversation, so it's out of context. So again, how do you regulate context?
So, for example, when I had my business, right, I found out the hard way. My business did a pivot. So I went from being a marketing agency to an IT firm / ticketing outlet. Okay. And when I applied for some government funding, they were like, I thought you're a marketing firm. I was like, no, I pivoted. Oh, yeah, no, you're disqualified. Why? Because there's hoops you have to jump through to be in this other industry. Oh, okay. So I had to like reclassify my business and do all these things, right? Okay. And then I know people that have their businesses, they've had to shut down their businesses, or they've had regulatory bodies come down on them or whatever because they did something outside of their fund. Because basically, you could say you're one thing and be another thing, and then that's against the law, right? So if they were to do that in this case, right, if you are presenting half truth, you're not news. You are opinion. You are something else, whatever that classification.
I just don't know what's the news anymore because my opinion is
Walter
that everything is opinion, and that even though you say that, he has some kind of bias against something.
So you believe in alternative facts?
I think that news, like media news, whoever's presenting it has an agenda. for whatever they're presenting to me.
Have you ever seen CTV talk about the school speed limits in Winnipeg, in Manitoba?
Yeah. Good.
The reporter goes on the air and says, this counselor has proposed that 30 zones should be all in St. Boniface. Okay, Matt Allard wants every street to be 30 in St. Boniface or some stupid shit, right? They present Matt Allard's side, the community side, advocacy side, and that's it. And they say it will be up for vote on this date, and they move on to the next story. No hyperbole, no bullshit. It's the Walter Cronkite news from back in the day.
Sounds like that.
That's news.
It's something that's news, sure.
Yes, that's news. That's what news is.
The majority of everything else out there in the world is not that.
You think the majority?
You don't?
Well, I mean, like investigative journalism, for example. So it's the Matt Gaetz story is coming out about him with the pedophilia and all that, right?
Like who put somebody up to that story right now?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
Politically motivated.
If the story itself only presents the information as it is known based on fact, evidence, and clickable information, then that's news.
So P. Diddy, there's people out there that are like, P. Diddy's a great guy. And then there's so many people that are like, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, but that's opinion.
Right. So it's opinion. But like, so when they present this, like, again, we don't know the facts yet.
Yeah, so you can only present that's what I'm saying. News is the best information in the moment without any hyperbole.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything else is like, so the second that Anderson Cooper, he's like, we're going to report on this earthquake that happened and 13 people died and it was magnitude of 6.8.
There's no opinion.
And I really believe that because of Trump's policies on immigration, that this earthquake was caused. He's not news anymore. He's opinion, right?
So, but who's regulating that? Because if most of the time he's news and he throws in an opinion once in a while, is he opinion?
It's an opinion piece if he throws in his opinion, 100%. And I think it should have to be labeled as such.
Yeah. Again, sure.
You keep on
yes,
back.
sure. I do not think though that it's going to change anything.
What won't change it? The labels?
Yeah, I don't think so.
So if you came across, I'm asking a legitimate question. If you came across a website that was labeled as opinion and entertainment, and they were talking about politics, you would give it as much weight as a news story.
Yep.
What?
Yep, 100%.
Oh my God, what's going on in that head of yours?
Because I don't trust the news people either. Because I feel like everyone's out. So maybe it's a conspiracy side of me.
But if somebody presents fact and evidence-based fact, not just saying something, but evidence-based fact. A car accident happened. 2 people died.
When we're talking political stuff.
Okay, political stuff. Okay.
So your opinion is
Kamala Harris is the border czar. Okay, that's the right's talking point.
Okay.
The evidence is that in her job description, she was supposed to go down to South America and figure out the root cause of the migration up to the U.S. border. That was it. That was her job. That was her official White House job description, which is documented, dated, it's itemized, it's indexed, it's everything, right? So the fact of the matter is that she wasn't a border czar. That's just a talking point. So if I were to look at the border czar thing, because you would have to follow it up and say, what is a border czar? Well, she was responsible for making sure nobody came over the border. Lie. Immediately a lie. That wasn't her job. Her job was simply to figure out why they were coming up in droves, right? So
did she figure it out? Hypothetically,
I'm sure she didn't figure it all out, based on what she said about it, yeah, she figured out a lot of stuff about it. She figured out that the U.S. through economic support and through different programs could mitigate the flood of migrants to the U.S. It wasn't her job to stop. It is not within her responsibilities to stop immigrants at the border. She can't do it. It's impossible. She's not allowed to. That's not her job. So again, we're turning political. Yeah, again. But
at the end of the day,
but that's the point. But what I'm saying is there's 2 stories there. One is a very opinion based. She's a border czar. They don't even define it. The other one is here is the actual job description with the facts, with the time, date stamps, and all that stuff. That is news.
Right.
Border czar bullshit. Her job description, that is news.
Really, even the left isn't like, this is the news. Like they're like, when she was in Congress or whatever, she did all these great things. She's tough on crime. She's going to be tough on Trump. Look at her.
I'm not saying that anybody's good at it. I'm saying that if you want to get a license as a business, as a news site, you have to present news. Right. If you want to get a license as a satire site like The Onion, cool, great. Because The Onion, I fucking love The Onion. Their shit's so funny. right? But at the end of the so this is why I'm saying this discussion that kind of backs up what I'm saying. We need this stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Without it, I think we're in big
I'll sign
trouble.
up with you. Let's go.
Okay, we'll start logging into the internet with our IDs.
I still don't think that there's enough real news out there, so I don't believe any of the news that I hear. I don't believe it.
There was I can't remember when it was.
And
but I think it was
this with local news. Sure, like there was a fire downtown. I believe you. There was a fire downtown.
Yeah,
but like, hey, Kamala Harris did all these great things. Well, you're telling me for a reason because you're trying to lead me down a path so I have a thought a certain way. Or Kamala Harris is the devil. You want me to think a certain way. You're trying to tell me what to think. That's not news.
Yeah, that's not news. 100%.
But that's often
but stating
on CNN or Fox.
But yeah,
but whatever,
but stating her record is news. No, it is 100%. If any politician signs a bill to do a certain thing, that's news.
A bunch of them, and I'm sure there's bills that she didn't sign that could have helped the world also. So is that news that
of course
should he?
If a topic comes up that says, if a topic came up that said she voted no, and this happens all the time, she voted no on the bill that would have saved the children of the world, right? That's news. Her signing the bill to save the children of the world, that's news too, right? Them saying she doesn't want to save the children of the world with no proof, that's news. That's not news. That's opinion.
So now I can pick and choose and say she did not save the bill or sign the bill to save the children. That's news, but I'm still leading you.
Of course, but to
show that she's
but you're at least presenting it with truth.
Or Trump did this.
I have zero problem with somebody trying to lead me a certain way, as long as they're presenting proof.
It's
not the same. How is it the same?
Because you just want proof or opinion. It doesn't matter.
No, I want proof or opinion. Yeah, because opinion I can dismiss.
Right, but like,
opinion can't be
part of the truth. It's still truth, and it's still
proof. What?
I'm only giving you part of the proof.
No,
part of it.
If you can't provide evidence of something, that's not news. That's not proof. That's just you talking shit. It's that's the thing, right? So like, let's use it Justin Trudeau as an example, right? The Forbes thing, I touched on this on another episode. The Forbes thing about him going from 10 million to 300 and something million dollars in his net worth from Forbes and all that.
That's because he's a great businessman.
Total bullshit. Never happened. Forbes never reported it. It was just bullshit on the internet by people that hated Justin Trudeau. Okay. Somebody saying that to me is not news. Somebody saying to me, Justin Trudeau went from $10 million to $300 million as reported by Forbes. Here's the Forbes article. Here is the research Forbes did. Here is the proof. Here is his net worth based on his tax filings and all that. Oh, that's news. But you telling me that Justin did this, that's not news. That's opinion. Right. I dismiss it.
So I'm not saying you're wrong on this.
Yeah.
What I am saying though is people take truth and manipulate truth to lead you a certain way.
No, people manipulate opinion. They don't manipulate truth. You can't manipulate truth. Truth only goes one way. You can only have one truth. This alternative fact shit that what's her name, Kellyanne Conway came up with is bananas. Because math cannot be 1 + 1 = 11. Or as it was said, I can't remember what movie it was. 2 + 2. Oh no, it was The Rock said it. The Booker T. 2 + 2 = Thomas Jefferson, mother sucker. You know, like it's like it can't equal the wrong answer if it's evidence based. If it's the only way you can manipulate the truth is if you're getting away from the evidence. That's it. That's the only way to manipulate truth, right? Like if somebody were to say to me, "You are black. You're Jamaican," I'd be like, "Well, the skin's darker. I guess it's possible. It doesn't really look Jamaican to me." I go to you and I say, "Are you Jamaican?" You say, "No." What are you, by the way? What's your background?
My dad's from Guyana.
Okay.
My mom's white Métis.
So you say that. And I say, I don't know who to believe. And you say, here's my birth certificate. Check it out. That's proof, right? Now, if I go over to that guy and say, he showed me his birth certificate and it says what you just said. And he says to me, I don't believe in that birth certificate.
No, that's not what I'm saying, though.
What are you saying?
Clear. What I'm saying is someone comes up to you now and says, he's from Guyana. His dad's from Guyana, whatever. And you're like, yeah, he's from Guyana. That's only half of the truth, which is not wrong. But what about the white and Métis side? We didn't talk about that. You're leading me away. So hypothetically, we want to talk about something to do with brown people. Hey, he's brown. Like he's embracing his brown side.
You're allowed to do whatever the hell you want with yours.
But
it's your truth.
Part of the truth. there's the other part of the truth, which is I can't be like brown people are the best, white people suck, and then you're like, well, but actually you're half white. Then I'd be like, that's awkward. Like that's not the whole truth. Like, what do you mean? Whatever. Like you could lead someone how you want to with
That's
information.
a pretty bad example.
I don't know. We're going over time here, but
but
I'm saying information can be manipulated.
But truth can't.
Right.
Like you are who you are.
Yes.
You are. Your background is your background.
But the news could say, "Hey, he's Guyanese."
Yes.
But also, that's true.
But they haven't produced any proof. That's what I'm saying.
But like again,
no, that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. If it cannot be news and it cannot be truth without proof.
All right.
So somebody says that you're Mexican and you're like, yeah, I'm Mexican, and you've got nothing to back that up except for you saying you're Mexican, then you're not Mexican until you show proof that you're Mexican. There is no definitive answer unless proof is given.
What
and
if
I think that's
identify as Mexican?
Oh fuck.
Oh, now you're just getting carried away.
Come on.
Yeah.
But no, what I'm saying is without definitive proof, everything should be taken as subjective, and it shouldn't enter your lexicon, it shouldn't enter your mind, nothing, right? So if you were to ID based to get on the internet, websites are regulated like businesses, and information had to be displayed as it's intended,
it'll make the world better. I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
Look at that.
I do think people will take advantage of.
People take advantage of every system everywhere all the time. We're never going to be able to get away from human nature. But
AI will fix it all.
This guy in AI. You're gonna leave your woman for a robot.
Movie, that Subservience movie?
No.
Megan Fox.
Oh, Megan Fox is back.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's enough reason to watch it.
The concept is amazing.
Okay.
Obviously, AI comes over and then
Is it better than Ex Machina?
I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, I just said it looks amazing.
Have you watched Ex Machina?
Yes.
So good.
Amazing.
Oh, if you guys haven't watched Ex Machina, you have to watch it. And it's not Ex Machina or Maskiana.
I would have said Machina.
What have you? Oh, okay. Okay, so we are in agreement. The internet needs to be improved. These things, if they could figure out how to do it, would be an improvement, would make the internet better. Yes?
Yes.
Cool.
Love it.
There we go. Okay, guys, what do you think? You let us know. I know some people are going to be like, you can't regulate the internet. That's a bad thing. And you're going to tell me that I have no idea what I'm talking about. And that's fine. Do it, because you're entirely entitled to have an opinion. It doesn't mean we have to accept it as fact. That's kind of the point. So give some suggestions on how you think the internet could be made better. I probably could have gone for hours on this, but we went almost an hour on this 3 points. So I want to hear what you guys have to say on it. And please, it would do me a solid and interact in some way, because we get pushed up in the algorithms, those nasty algorithms, when you interact. So commenting, rating, sharing, subscribing, all those sorts of things, they matter. So if you enjoyed my conversation with Chris, do that, because it'll help you see more of the conversation, help other people see conversation. And tune in to part 2, which will come out in 1 week's time. Unless you're catching it after it's come out, then it's already out and you just go watch it right now. Okay? So do better, be better, and make the world a better place. That is our principle. That is our motto. And that is the way we live our lives. All right? Talk to you guys later.
Thanks for checking out Better. If you got to the end, it must mean you liked the episode, right? So how about 5 stars, maybe a sub, maybe a share, great universal comment points, and good luck on your better journey.